in the 80s.
On the heels of talking about video games and so forth, which would be certainly related to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes.
Atari is back.
For what?
Atari is back. They've released the Atari 2600 Plus. The console can connect to modern-day televisions and can play both the old 2600 and 7800 games. It comes with a controller and a 10-in-1 cartridge featuring some of Atari's most iconic games. It is currently available for order now. It is shipping in December at Atari.com for $129.99. Extra joysticks are available, as well as a set of the paddle controllers that comes with their own 4-in-1 game cartridge as well. Your thoughts, sir?
Huh? What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do you think this is going to sell well, or because they're these old games that...
well,
as
you saw me slowly fall asleep before you announced my presence back in the...
Yeah.
Those who are nostalgic for this product, and I don't mean any disparaging remarks after this, I don't think that it is going to attract the audience that they're hoping to attract.
I think I sadly have to agree. I think this is too little too late.
Because, and the reason behind this is they've already done a remod once of the Atari 2600, and I'm not taking anything away from the Atari 2600. It needed to happen so we could move the video game the evolution farther and farther and farther to the point where we have it now. And because it is directly not the Atari 2600, but gaming in general, and like things like television, Coleco, this, that, and the other thing, where everybody and their mother was coming out with a game system, almost collapsed, if not killed, the video game franchises to the point where, the arcades were starting to lose money due to this. And if it weren't,
it certainly led to the crash in '83.
Yeah, and if it weren't for a little gray box known as Nintendo coming out, we wouldn't have video games as we do. So I respect what the Atari 2600 did. And to that point, I do hope that it does well, but I believe that the market for it, they're too old.
Well, here's the thing.
You're talking about people in their 60s to their late 40s.
Not necessarily. And here's where I disagree with you slightly.
I think
there's a huge collector's market.
There is.
That has grown around video games.
I will not take anything away
and
from
I think part of the problem is the old hardware for Atari. Unless you know how to work on something like that, there's not very many people that can keep those machines up and running. But there's tons of the cartridges out there. Mm-hmm. So you could buy one of these units and be able to play your entire library of 2600 and 7800 game collectibles. Where I think it's a little too late is, and I don't remember the name of the company, I'll have to put it in the notes, is that there's a company out there that has been producing consoles.
Yes.
That has done one for the 2600 already. It's been out there, and it's less than $100. Mm-hmm. So where I come in is, and saying it's too little too late, is had they come to market with this a few years ago, before that company released that, I think they would have been in great shape. I don't know if the addition of the 7800 games is enough to carry that. Having said that, as someone myself that has been looking at and considering one of those units, I think they're like $80 that the other company has, and does not have it currently, I don't know that I mind spending the extra money for the $129 in order to have access to the paddle controls, in order to have access to the 7800 games. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it's guaranteed to fail. I just think they have a hard road to hoe.
Well, and coming from, because I enjoy nostalgia video games too. I mean, I grew up during the rise. My favorite video game of all time is Super Mario 3. Yeah. Now, for me to play Super Mario 3, I needed to go and find one of those retro-graded machines that allowed me to play Super Mario 3, and it cost me, like $80 somewhere in there. And it plays the game just fine. There's no lag between the buttons and the television because of how you're able to hook it up and whatnot. So I totally agree with them coming out with a system like that and having the ability to play these games. In fact, they're still coming out with retro 8-bit Nintendo games that people are making and retrofitting for the Nintendo system, and I see the same thing for the Atari 2600.
There are people that are programming customized Atari cartridges as well.
Yeah.
So the market's there.
And I appreciate that, but this is kind of where I'm a little leery. Is there's a huge gap. I don't know how huge, but there is a definite gap between the Atari 2600 and the Nintendo.
Yes.
And filling that gap, it's almost like you could draw a line and go 2600 Nintendo. And you're right, it might be too little too late. I am amazed that they're coming out with the retrograde and being able to hook it up to your television. I just don't know how well they're going to do.
I do think that it will sell well than original ones on the basis that you need to find a CRT.
Yeah.
And that's becoming a much more difficult thing to do these days.
Or a CRT converter.
Yeah, which else in and of itself is difficult to find. So, who's to say? I guess we'll have to watch this over the next year and see how well it does. It's coming out just in time. People might be able to get it in time for Christmas, and we'll see what happens during the holiday season.
Now, there is one thing that I did grateful and something I did want to bring back is because there is that nostalgia factor. Mm-hmm. Lego did an amazing job.
Oh, the Atari, the build.
They made an Atari 2600 out of Lego, where you get the cartridges and then you get to build the little characters on top of the cartridges, like Centipede or Asteroids or.
I'd love to see them
Invaders.
put out more of the cartridges.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just to build up around that system. I thought that was an amazing idea.
Yeah,
and any collector should be happy to have that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find out where that goes as well.
Well, there we go. And with that, we have approached the end of our show. That is all the news and updates that we have that are 80s related currently. We hope that you've enjoyed the program. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. By all means, comment. Let us know what you think. If you've got some alternate opinions or whatever, let us know. We'd love to have some meaningful discourse and find out what you all think of this. So,
and as soon as we figure out how Patreon works, we're going to be on that too.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, for 80s Allies, for Larry, it's Jim. For Jim, it's Larry. We'll see you next time.
One of us is somebody, and we don't know who.